You went carnivore to feel better, and now your hair is on the pillow. You're exhausted by noon, and you haven't had a decent poop in days. Before you fire your steak and run back to cereal, let's slow down. Most of the scary side effects people blame on carnivore are not proof the diet is bad for you. They're proof that something in the implementation is off. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 5 most common mistakes I see causing hair loss, fatigue, and constipation on carnivore and low-carb diets, and exactly how to fix each one. By the end, you'll know what's normal adaptation, what's a red flag, and when to go get labs so you're not guessing in the dark. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Tony Hampton, a board-certified family and obesity medicine doctor who lives in this metabolic health world all day. I've seen patients heal on carnivore, and I've seen people crash and burn because of these same 5 mistakes. Let's keep you in the first group. Mistake number 1, treating protein like a side dish. Hair is made of protein. Your muscles are protein. Your enzymes, hormones, immune cells, protein. When people jump into carnivore, they often do one of 2 things wrong. They either eat too little overall because they're so full, or they snack on small amounts of meat and call it a day. Your body is smart. When calories and amino acids drop hard and fast, it goes into triage mode. It sends resources to vital organs and away from luxury tissues like hair. That's how you get something called telogen effluvium, a fancy way of saying stress-induced shedding that often shows up a couple of months after the trigger. So you start carnivore, drop weight quickly, cut calories, and 2 to 3 months later, your hair starts coming out in the shower. You blame the ribeye, when the real culprit is the crash. For most adults, a simple starting target is around 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of ideal body weight, which is roughly 0.5 to 0.7 grams per pound. Practically, that looks like 30 to 50 grams of protein, 2 to 3 times per day. Think a good-sized steak, some eggs, maybe seafood. If you're losing hair and you're barely hitting 60 to 7 grams of protein a day, your follicles are telling you to step your game up. Mistake number 2, forgetting electrolytes and salt. When you drop carbs, insulin falls. That's the point. But low insulin also tells your kidneys, release the water and the sodium. You start peeing out sodium, then water, then potassium and magnesium tag along for the ride. That's why people get keto flu. The fatigue, brain fog, headaches, even heart flutters are often an electrolyte issue, not a ketone issue. Low electrolytes also slow things down in the gut. Muscles need sodium, potassium, and magnesium to contract. Your colon is a muscle. If it's underpowered, you get that glorious combination of I feel full, but nothing's moving. For most metabolically healthy adults without kidney or heart failure and not on potassium-sparing meds, a well-formulated low-carb or carnivore plan usually needs more electrolytes than a standard diet. Many experts in this space suggest roughly 3,000 to 5,000 milligrams of sodium per day, and sometimes up to 7,000 if you're carnivore. Often 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams of potassium from food, and 300 to 500 milligrams of magnesium. What does that look like in real life? Salt your food generously. Consider a mug of 2 of salted broth. If you're cramping, constipated, or sleeping poorly, a magnesium glycinate or citrate supplement at night is often magic for both muscles and bowels. The lesser known part, low sodium can trigger stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. So you wake up groggy, a little anxious, maybe with a racing heart, and think, carnivore is wrecking my hormones, when in reality, you might just need more salt on your burger. Mistake number 3, turning carnivore into a crash diet. Carnivore is very satiating. You take away the trigger foods, cravings drop, and a lot of people spontaneously undereat. Add OMAD, 20-hour fast, and aggressive workouts, and suddenly you're losing weight at warp speed. Now, weight loss is often a goal, but when it's too fast, your body reads it as a stress signal. Studies on rapid weight loss from crash diets, bariatric surgery, and severe calorie restriction all show the same pattern, telogen effluvium. Hair follicles abort the growth phase and go into resting, and a couple of months later, shed. On top of that, calorie restriction lowers thyroid output as a built-in energy-saving mode. That can show up as fatigue, cold intolerance, and constipation. A safer target is roughly 0.5 to 1% of your body weight per week. If you're 200 pounds, that's about 1 to 2 pounds per week. If you're dropping 4, 5, 6 pounds weekly for months, and your hair is jumping ship, your body is saying, slow down. Sometimes the fix is as simple as eat one more real meal. Stop stacking long fasts every single day, and let your metabolism breathe. Mistake number 4, ignoring fat, fluids, and movement when you get constipated. Constipation on carnivore freaks people out. Doc, I used to go every day. Now it's every third day. Am I broken? Stool volume often goes down on carnivore. You're not eating all that plant residue, so there's less left over to send to the toilet. Going less often with soft, easy stools is usually fine. The problem is when stools are hard, painful, or you're going 3, 4, 5 days with discomfort and bloating. That's not just adaptation. Here's what I see clinically. Folks who cut both carbs and fat. They buy the leanest cuts, trim every bit of fat, sip water all day with almost no salt, and sit at a desk for 10 hours. That colon is on strike. Fat stimulates bowel and motility. Sodium in water keeps things hydrated. Gentle movement, walking after meals, a little bouncing on your feet, literally helps gravity do its job. So if you're carnivore and constipated, run this checklist. Are you eating enough fat? Or are you terrified of it? Are you salting food and drinking to thirst? Or chugging plain water all day? Are you moving your body or living in your chair? Some people do well adding a small amount of fiber, especially if they're not strict carnivore. But most carnivore patients fix constipation just by increasing fat, electrolytes, and movement. Mistake number 5, flying blind on labs, especially thyroid and iron. At some point, we have to admit, this may not just be electrolytes and adaptation. When hair loss, fatigue, or constipation go on for 2, 3, 4 months, or they're severe, that's when I stop guessing and start testing. Thyroid hormones control metabolic rate, gut motility, and hair cycling. Low thyroid function shows up as fatigue, dry skin, cold hands and feet, thinning hair, and constipation. Low-carb diets and calorie restriction can reduce T3, the active thyroid hormone. Sometimes that's a healthy energy efficiency adaptation, and people feel great. Sometimes, especially if TSH is high and symptoms are strong, it's a sign we need to intervene. Iron is the other big one. Ferritin, the iron storage protein, is a sensitive marker for iron deficiency in people without major inflammation. Low iron is a classic reversible cause of non-scarring hair loss. Newer studies suggest that the old 10 to 15 ferritin cutoffs miss a lot of cases, and that levels below around 30 to 50 nanograms per milliliter can be associated with deficiency in people with symptoms. Here's my usual lab wish list for someone on carnivore with these complaints. A complete blood count, ferritin and an iron panel, B12 and folate, TSH and free T4, and sometimes free T3, with thyroid antibodies and reverse T3. A basic metabolic panel, vitamin D and occasionally zinc. And this part matters. Don't start hammering iron supplements long term just in case. Too much iron is toxic and can damage organs. We treat iron based on labs and follow-up labs, not vibes. For more nuance, if your T3 is a little low, but your TSH and free T4 are normal, and you feel fantastic, that may be your body becoming more efficient on fat and ketones. If your TSH is climbing and you're dragging, cold, backed up, and losing hair, that's a different conversation. So, quick recap. If your hair is thinning, your energy is tanking, or your bowels are stuck on carnivore, don't assume the solution is to run back to ultra-processed foods. Start by fixing the big 5. Eat enough protein. Replace the electrolytes you're losing. Respect your body's limits on how fast it can lose weight. Feed your gut with enough fat, fluids, and movement. And if symptoms persist, get the right lab so you can catch thyroid or iron issues early. Most of these problems are course corrections, not death sentences for your diet. So if this video helped you, tap like, share it with that carnivore friend who's scared of their hairbrush, and tell me in the comments which symptom you've noticed the most. And if you're ready to continue learning from the Metabolic Health Doctor, click on this video right here on the screen, or subscribe right here. I release videos almost every day because my life purpose is to help you achieve metabolic health.